Hi. This project simulates the executable based malware attack. Here we are using the Linux binary files, which is an infection vector, and this mostly come under the category of malware based attacks. And here we are using the two approaches, like which is signature based and behavioral based. And we are using the ClamAV for signature based, and we are using the trace, which is like system call tracing for the behavioral based. Like here we are using the binary files, like which are like remote access trojans, and which like mostly use it for unauthorized access, and modify files for. So by using these two, we are using to analyze the malware. For this we are using the safe system, like we are using VM for that. Like I download the uh, like new Ubuntu version, and then we are using this for our analysis now. And now we are starting the virtual box. So these projects mainly help us to find the difference between two kinds of analysis, like the signature and behavioral. Mainly the signature finds only the known patterns, but in the behavioral it's not like that. It will also records all the system calls, network traffic, and every single module, so it may be easy for us to find the unknown malware also. So now we are gonna open the terminal first. Firstly, I'm gonna show in the two process. First, I will just show the signature based products, sorry, signature based analysis. Here, this GitHub repository have only the known signature, so we can find the difference in the two processes. So for the first signature based, first we are updating our systems. So it may help our system to refresh and get into the newer versions. So here it was updated, and for the first we are doing the signature based malware analysis. For this we are using the clam av, like it is the open source antivirus tool which help us to find the viruses or any malware on our Linux systems. For this, first we will enter into the root, and then we will install the clamav, so it may help us to access all the files and everywhere. So for this we are using the sudo apt install clamav command for this as usual. And here we are also using the clamav diamond, which like operates as the background service. Like it may allow us like real time scanning, so we are installing it combinedly. Here we can see like it, I already previously installed this one, so it was showing the zero newly installed, because like in the previously I already installed this one. So by this command we can install like the clamav in new systems, or for that. So after installation process, now we are going to like refresh our database first. Like for this we are using the sudo fresh clam, like it is the inbuilt command for the clamav that may update the database for us. And like here, after it was successfully updated, then we will check for the services of the clamav, like which we are currently working. So it will help us like it was actively running or not in the background, and we can check the details of the execution. So for this we are using the like restart. First we will restart the clamav daemon because it will help us to like run the background services. So like which allows the real-time background service. First we will restart that and then we will check with the status of that. And here we can find it was actively running in the background, so it will capture the real time and everything. And then now for like the malware scanning, like I search with many githubs and I like selected one github link. So that is here I was entering. I don't wanna keep all the process, so that's why previously I was search for the github repositories, and I will just uh, keep the link of that. So that was I was directly typing the link. So here I'm using the malware repo github. Like this is the link for that github. Here I'm just showing the like the github was existed or some, just showing the basic details of the github. Like anyway we will clone, next we will clone it in the terminal. Like now we will like clone that repository into our local system, like so we can download the files in our system, so it may help us to scan the malware. Here we are using the git clone command and then we are giving the link of that github malware file. Like in one github, we as we know, like we have many repositories or many databases in one github. Like here also like same we have like many things in that, so it will scan everything. So for accessing github, like we have to download the git, I think. Like as we can see, like we have lots of files in that, like around 482 files. So it was cloning into our system. So successfully it was done. Now we gonna scan that, like for the malware signature based one. Here we are using the clam scan. For that we are using this command. Like this command will help us to scan the cloned repository, not clone database. Oh, here the files are zero. Oh, I can scan one more time. So sorry, like here we are in root user, hence we downloaded that in our like home directory. I think it was the issue, it was not scanning. So now we gonna come out of root and get into our like local. So here we entered into our local and we just scan here and we can see all OKs found and everything. Here OK will shows that for the unknown signatures, like if you don't have the similar patterns or unknown signatures in the database, it shows OK, because in the signature base it doesn't scan every single one because it only scans the known signatures. So that's why we can see the OK and found commands both. Here, OK is like it just scanned, but it doesn't found anything because it was an unknown signature. For the found, it was something like malware in that. Like so, like here we can see the win Trojan. That is something like malware. So, like this is how like the signature ways to work. Like hence we have like lots of files. It was like just scanning every single file. It was showing like found or it was showing like OK. Like if it will shows like found if something the known signature patterns or known signature malware there. It will shows okay if doesn't know like unknown signatures or something. Like this is the difference between the behavioral and like in the behavioral it will scan each and every like system calls and monitor every each log or packet and every networking traffics and every auditing process and everything. But in the signature it will only scans the signature known signatures. can see in the scan summary we can see like it scans all 269 files, and in that the infected files are like 154, and it scans almost like 455 MB of data. Like this is how like the signature based works. Now like we will try in one other process. Like in this we have like lots of file, lots of signatures. So let's download like one file from the malware buzzer where we can have like the malware samples, like which will be safe also. Like if we download it from there, we can compare the behavioral and signature by this file, because hence like the previous one it's the large, and also in that we have like all known signatures, so we can't find the difference easily. In this we can find the difference easily, so I'm using this process for that. Now we are entered into the malware buzzer, and we will download one of the file. Hence we are using the behavioral patterns in the Linux. It will allow the binary files for scanning, so it's good to download the type of the ELF like binary files. Here we are downloading that. We can see that file in the downloads. Hence this was like the malware file download from the malware buzzer. We can't unzip or open directly. We will have the password for that. Like the password they have already mentioned, it was like the infected. So we will type that password and then we will unzip the folder. Like these two are the files. After unzip we will get into the ELF file, which will be easy for us to scanning. Here we are renaming the file because it was very large. Well, like if we wanna scan this file, we can't enter that much big name, so we are just giving the malware sample as the name. For like for both, we are giving the. So now we can use this ELF file. That's the other one like which I previously used. Now the malware sample is the file I have downloaded. Now for like behavioral scanning, first to show the difference we will do like the signature based scan like which we used previously. Here we are using the clam scan, same for that. But in the previously we used the git clone and we just give the name of the GitHub one. Now we already downloaded the file, so we are giving the file name and we are scanning here. Oh, it was showing like no such file or directory. Hence, we are not in the path of the file, so it was showing like that. Now we enter into the path and we will scan again. See here, the file was scanned successfully, but it doesn't show any infected files because it all has the unknown pattern, so it doesn't scan like previously. In the previously, it has known pattern, known signatures, so it scanned easily. Now it mostly have like all the files are like unknown signatures, so it doesn't scan. So by now, like we will scan the behavioral pattern, so it will shows all the malware things, so that by that we can see the difference between both. Like now we will start with the behavioral patterns. For the behavioral patterns, like we need more tools for scanning, because we will scan like system calls, and then we will track network activity, and we will track the time logs and everything. So for everything we will need like multiple apps or tools for that. So now we're gonna download all those tools by using the single command. Like before that, first we have to download the Rexshot. Like in the malware based detection, like it is the main tool for monitoring the modifications made by the Windows registry by the like by malware. Like it will shows us like how the file alters the system, like it may show the difference between the systems or something. Like if something wrong happens, like if something our system was changing, it will help us to show like what changes it. Just for the safer side we are installing, like if something happens for our system, it may help us to find what was happening. Here we download that and we are gonna extract that. And next, here this is the command we are using to download all the essential tools in single command. Like for example, like here we are downloading the trace, TCP dump, audit, and I notify tools and everything for scanning purpose. Think like every app will play some roles in the behavioral scanning. Like we also have like more tools. Like firstly we plan of doing with Maldic, but now it was removed. We tried in the GitHub or somewhere to download, but the Maldic was not working. And we tried doing with Coco Sandbox, like in one of our teammate system. But while doing that, it's showing to download multiple things. While downloading that, the system was affected, so we got just scared, and we are just using the simple tools which we can scan the behavioral process. So this is the tools, like we have elsof, we have trace, we have dcp dump. Like here the elsof and notify, we will it will help us to examine the files which was affected, and like the netstat and tcp dump for network activities, and auditor for all the changes. By combining all this, we can get the good behavioral profile for scanning. Oh, like the audit spelling was wrong. It's, here all the files was downloaded, all the tools. Sorry. Next, here we are using the command like file dot, like our file name, which help us to identify the types and the properties of the binary file which we are going to use. So we just have to give the file, and our we saved the file name as malware sample. So it just give the what type and what property it was using. Next, here additionally we are gonna install some more tools. Like first we are going to install the bin utils, like which which help us to access all the bin walk, all these like uh, helpful files. Here we are downloading the UPX file, sorry, tool, like which help us to analyze the binary strings, like which for analyzing these binary strings, but we have to unpack that. For that we use the UPX one, and then we're gonna give the command like binwalk and then our file name. We just install the bin util, so we have to install the bin work for that. So first we're gonna install the bin work, and then we're gonna run this command again. So here it was. So we have to install bin work. And now we are giving this command, and it shows the file which has the known signatures or like headers or compression methods. Like we are giving like one more command like pinwalk e, like which extracts all the embedded files, like which we will identify during the scan. Oh, here are the file name was wrong. Here we're gonna get output here. And then here we have to first get the permission to scan the malware sample. So for behavioral analysis, for that we are using this chmod command, which help us to grant the permission for scanning. Here permission was granted, and then now we're gonna start behavioral scanning by using the trace, like which was downloaded at the starting. Was the wrong command, I think. We have to save it later, not now. We have to just give the trace and our file name. It capture all the system calls and the logs captured by the malware files. See, we can see it was capturing all the files from the starting. In the signature, we can see it just scanned the file and it shows there is no infected file. That's it. But in the behavioral, it scans all the system calls and the logs and everything. So it scans a lot of things. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know why my record was stopped during this process. Here, we're gonna save the file, like all this output in one file, like trace log text file, so we can check all the logs, so we can compare both the signature and behavioral logs. So we can see here it was automatically in the downloads, and all the logs was recorded here. And like in this trace, we capture the system calls, so it will detect all the low level behavioral like process creation or network communication and all this stuff. Now we're gonna use the command like else of, like which open file all the files, like all the sample files in this. So then now we're gonna all display all the active connections by using the netstat command. All, so here we can see all the open or active network connections and their states. Like as the behavioral part, we scanned all the net system logs, sorry, system calls and logs made by the file. Now we're gonna scan all the network traffic by TCP dump, like which will generate the pcap file here. Like we can run this pcap in the Wireshark, or we can just download the pcap and we can review later. Here we can see like almost we have lots of files, hence we give the limit here 1000. It will just scan the 1000 packets or something, it just record up to 1000 bytes. Here we can see 1000 packets captured. So we can check in that and we can find something like malicious network, or any malicious person unwantedly want to connect with the network or something, or everything we can check there. But in the signature we can't check all these things. That's what the main difference between the signature and behavioral based. Here we're gonna see all the pickup things here. Anyway, we're gonna save this all into the pickup file and we can review it later. Here I'm just captured just 1000 packets. That's all for this lab. Like in the report, I'm gonna show, like I gonna highlight the difference between both in the the- theoretical way, and I'll show the difference between the outputs and everything, so maybe we can understand it clearly. Like it may be the simple project, but like in every attack, the signature and behavioral based analysis was main. Like in the ransom or in the zero day attack, we need the behavioral based analysis. Hence we need like every single log we need to capture there. For that we will use the behavioral based, and for known patterns we will use the signature based. Hence, we are scanning the malware. We are just running in the VM, which is the safest environment. So that's all. Yeah, that's all for this demo. Like, I will include everything in the report. That's all. Thank you.